welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am going to be working on this week's Scraplift Crafternoon. This is a hop where my tribe and I choose a layout to scrap lift. We try to choose people who have low subbies on their YouTube accounts or Instagram accounts, but we don't always make it with the low. Those are getting fewer and harder to find. So if you want to recommend somebody, or if it's you, just leave me a comment below. This week I chose a layout by Lillian Marvick. Lillian, I apologize if I just murdered your last name. I will link her social media accounts below in my description box. This layout is quite lovely. I'm going to pop it up here in the corner for you to look at. I have already trimmed down my photo to 3x5, and I have chosen some scraps for this layout. This is some scraps from my last Pink Fresh Fridays video. I can post that link below for you as well. And I am going to try to use up as much of these scraps as I possibly can on this layout. So, you know me, I love Pink Fresh Studios, so it's kind of awesome to be able to use up some stuff. This photo that I am going to be scrapbooking is from one of our military moves, and I took that photo, I think, from my scrapbook room when the truck started loading stuff up. Anyway, so I have some alphas and some phrases, and I'm going to be using some of the phrases and stuff here. I'm going to be using this piece there for a journaling block, and then we're just going to go ahead and speed you up and get started. I will be right back. Alright, off camera, I went ahead and I trimmed all the pieces that I was going to use down to about 1.5 by 10 for the thinner pieces, and the larger pieces 3 by 10. I also hand stitched all of those pieces with some black embroidery floss to kind of mimic what was on Lillian's layout. She did hers with a sewing machine, and I'm going to tell you, I am not that graceful with a sewing machine. My lines would not have been as straight as hers. So once I get these evenly spaced out and even across my layout, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the photo. The photo I'm going to have to recut because the 3x5 size, it is still too wide once I sewed on my white mat. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit. I think it's about 1/8 of an inch. So now my 3x5 photo is about 1/8 of an inch shorter than 3 inches. So as you saw in the beginning, I gave myself plenty of options for the title, but in the end, all I'm going to use is the word seriously. Initially, I thought I might use the title "Here We Go Again," but you know what? Seriously really conveyed how I was feeling the day that this photo was taken. We had only been living in this house for a year before we received orders to move to Fort Drum, New York. And so my brain was like, I do not want to move again so soon. This sucks. But you know what? Life is what it is. And we made that move to Fort Drum, where we spent right at 3 years, and it was a great assignment. We enjoyed being there and got to travel around the state a lot and see some really beautiful things while we were there. So I also pulled a question mark off that small alpha sheet because I didn't have a larger question mark on hand. I am going to kind of play around with the different pieces that I cut from that pattern paper. I know for a fact that I'm going to use that piece for journaling with the heart on it down there on that lower right hand side, but I haven't quite made up my mind what I'm going to do above the photo. I just added an enamel heart to that piece that I'm going to journal on, and now I'm going to put these little flare pieces on the layout. And I'm going to move them around quite a bit here because initially I get them where I don't think they go, and I kind of move them around quite a bit. Now I'm going to play around with these enamel dots, and this is where I decide that I have put my flare pieces in the wrong place, and then I move those around so that I don't have as many colors touching one another, which is kind of what I meant to do to begin with, but I kind of screwed up. You're just placing them down. Good thing I hadn't adhered those down at all. Everything is glued down, and I've really stuck close to Lillian's layout. I did move a few things around, like I didn't put the words here. I ended up putting words over here because I chose a much larger title than she had. I instead of putting a heart here, I put this thing out that I have auditioned on 2 layouts on camera in the last couple of weeks, so it's finally glued down to a layout. Of course, I didn't use an arrow paper clip. I use one that was sitting on my desktop because I have a little bowl of paper clips from Felicity Jane, so that's where that came from. These are some Bramble Fox. There are various ones I've got received in the mail over the last few months. I'm not subscribing to them any longer, but I do want to use up their beautiful product. And I added some enamel dots. So really that's all that I did. So I want to thank you for stopping by my channel today. I realize that you can get inspiration anywhere on the internet, and I appreciate you commenting and subscribing to my channel. If you liked this video, please click that thumbs up button. Make sure you check out that collaborative playlist in the description box below my video. Most of us are participating this week, so should have a full list down there for you. The links to all of our channels and Instagram are also there. So if you want to check out those, you can do that as well. Make sure you give Lillian some love on her Instagram account. And thank you again. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.